And look at it out here. There's mist in the air. All I hear is some strange animals in the background, but it's a little spooky, especially when it gets dark. With Halloween fast approaching, it's always a spooky time of the year. One of the spookiest places around can be the Ozark National Forest. There's been sightings of Bigfoot. We've recently had 2 fatal bear attacks, that, alleged bear attacks. The first in probably 20 years, all within the last month. What is it about these woods that's so alluring and potential for Bigfoot? One of the things a lot of people don't realize that live in populated areas, just how unpopulated the Ozarks are and how big they are. I used to live in Oregon and Northern California. I've been to the famous spot where Bigfoot was allegedly filmed, and once you've been out to an area like that, you can just see how big the country is and how much land is out there that is untouched by people. There's days out here that you don't see people for quite a while, and there's areas behind back in there that people just don't go back. I've got game cameras in there and I really don't see anything, and they're not that far back, maybe a mile back in there, but it goes back for miles. And you look at a map and there's nothing back there. There could be anything back in there deep in the woods. So it's one of those things that just because you live in a city and you have this idea how big things are, you really don't know. When I was in Oregon, I drove down a logging road for 40 miles and didn't see anybody, just to go rock climb something super remote. And when I was out there, I felt like it was Jurassic Park. Like, it was just unbelievable waterfalls and just craziness. And out here in the Ozarks, I run into that all the time. I'll go hiking in an area and you can just tell nobody's been there for a long time, untouched wilderness. So keep that in mind. Keep your mind open to the possibility. There's no proof of Bigfoot that he exists. There's no proof that he doesn't exist. I tend to believe there's a lot that we don't know what's going on in the world, and it's a big planet still. And who knows? And if anything, the folklore, it's there for a reason. They've always said places that have, like in Wisconsin, we had Devil's Lake. There was a reason it was called Devil's Lake. Something happened in the past to give it that name. A lot of these areas, there's just a lot of history of the big hairy man in the Ozarks. I'm going to go over some more information about why it's a possibility. One of the reasons in my previous job, I would go over potential failures and products and things like that, potential problems that could happen using objective evidence. Not saying they would happen, but here's the evidence that say it could happen. And I'm going to give you some of that evidence right now, just to say it's a possibility. And there's many out here. I've met a lot of people out here that said they've seen something. So I have not seen anything. I've heard some strange sounds, but then again, who hasn't in the woods? Arkansas has a big history of Bigfoot. There's the Folk monster, or the Boggy Creek monster, which was a Bigfoot sighting in Arkansas. That has been a long time ago. That was in the early 70s in Falk, Arkansas, near Texarkana. I'm probably saying the town wrong, Falk, or however you say it, but it's still in Arkansas, and it's still this state. So I pronounce a lot of the stuff out here wrong, incorrectly, because I have the Wisconsin accent, so apologize about that. So why would Bigfoot be in Arkansas? Most people live in populated areas and just have a really hard time imagining an area that Bigfoot could survive in. They just can't just imagine that. I've drove for hours without seeing another car on main roads out here. This is remote country. This is where there is more things in the woods than people could imagine. It's not like the city where you have a wooded area and it's surrounded by, buildings on both. You walk a mile and you hit a house, a town, whatever. Arkansas is 57%, so more than half the state is covered in forest, with approximately 19 million acres of forested land. Keep that in mind, 19 million. That's a big number. I'm in Newton County, and Newton County alone has over 400,000 acres of forested land. That's a big number. That is 81% is forested. There's woods in 81% of our county. That's a big number. Just how populated is Arkansas? It falls within the 20 least populated states in the United States. There's a lot of US cities that have a greater population than Arkansas, or very close to Arkansas. So Arkansas as a state is very low population. Cities with a population greater than the whole state of Arkansas, New York City. More people in New York City than the whole state of Arkansas. They have 8.47 million people, and Arkansas has, as a whole state, I believe just over 3 million people. And then Los Angeles has 3.87 million people, more than the whole state of Arkansas. Other cities, including Chicago, Houston, and Phoenix, Arizona, just the cities have roughly, they're just under, slightly under, but just roughly about the same population as the whole state of Arkansas. Just to give you an idea, so Jasper, where I'm at, population's about 500 people. And Newton County, which I'm in, is 7,000 people. So what Bigfoot sightings have been in this area? In 2017, near Vendor, Arkansas, there was a Bigfoot sighting. A Facebook user reported seeing 2 large animals, one of which was a huge, near Vendor in Newton County in August 2017. Apparently the post included some photos, though it was difficult to see creatures clearly. I've been looking at some of this stuff and researching a lot of it. There's also in 2018 in Boxley Valley, in December 2018, in Newton County, that they claimed showed a big guy, described as a large creature with breath visible in the chilly air. There's also the Pig Trail Scenic Byway. On Facebook, a thread discussing sightings there. One user mentioned always looking for Bigfoot while traveling along the Pig Trail Scenic Byway, noting that the area just has that Bigfoot feeling. Just has that Bigfoot feeling. That could be everywhere out here. There's so many times you go into the woods and you just feel like something is watching you. And could be a bear, could be bobcat, could be armadillo, could be Bigfoot, could be a meth head. There's an organization called BFRO, stands for Bigfoot Field Research Organization. If you go to their site, they have a map with overlays of all the spots where there has been Bigfoot sightings in the whole state. You can also break it down by county, and it's pretty interesting. There's also in the a news article posted about some people in Jasper hiking on the Buffalo River Trail, I believe, saw a family saw Bigfoot. Like I said, I've sold at local events selling surplus and stuff, and I always have 1 or 2 people that tell me their story, and I'll listen objectively and just hear them out. And I'm not saying that most of the stories are similar, but they're pretty similar, and descriptions are pretty similar. So it's one of those, I believe they saw something, and I'm not going to dismiss them, because across the holler over there could be a Bigfoot watching me right now. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. We just don't know. We really don't know. We're constantly finding new things, and it's kind of fun to keep the folklore alive. You come out here, there's Bigfoot signs everywhere, just lots of interesting, cool things. But I'm constantly, when I'm filming out here, just also searching, in a way you could say, for any kind of objective evidence, and saying it's a possibility, this could happen. With the amount of people out here, the vastness of the land, anything is possible. The objective evidence is there for the possibility. Have I seen one? No. Personally, no. Have I heard one? Maybe. Hear a lot of strange things out here. Knocking on wood, maybe it's a woodpecker, maybe it isn't. Footsteps in the woods kind of tracking me. Maybe it's just an animal. Could have been that dog, like that one time. I was filming something and I thought I heard something, and I even made a comment that I heard something, and then my wife said when I headed down the trail, she said a few minutes after I went down, some random dog just followed me down the trail, and this was on our property. It wasn't our dog. I don't know whose dog it was. It was some kind of hound. So he followed me, and that's more than likely what I heard. But what was he following besides me? Maybe he was on the scent of a Bigfoot. Who knows? It's interesting to keep the folklore alive, and this time of the year with Halloween and all that. But at the same time, you need to realize there is danger in these woods, as I've stated with the 2 fatal alleged bear attacks. So stay strapped if you're out in the woods hunting Bigfoot or just hunting a good hike. You want to stay protected at all times because you just never know nowadays. So hopefully this was a little bit of a more fun video, and I can't really say super fun video because yeah, Bigfoot, the topic of Bigfoot, it's always fun. The topic of fatal animal attacks in the woods is not fun. And it's been a bad year for Arkansas because we've had 3 fatal attacks this year. 2 of them allegedly, you know, bear 4-legged attack, and then one of them was a 2-legged predator that took out a mother and a father, and not, luckily, thank goodness, not the kids. So it's one of those things you hate to think of it because I mean you're out here and this is just absolute. And you could, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm probably a few miles from a highway and there's some motorcycles going by and you can hear them. So even when you're out here, there's roads that are spread out, and if you look at a map and you get lucky, you can hike and maybe hit a road. So more than likely I could go that way and hit a road. That way it would be miles and miles and miles and miles, and I wouldn't hit a road. That way it would, eventually I would hit maybe a couple miles that way. That way it would be a long walk. So there's things to, like I said, it's a big country, big terrain out here. And like I said, it's, who knows what's out here. So unfortunately, on this little encounter, just hiking out here, I did not find Bigfoot, but there's always that possibility. And it's fun, like I said, to keep the spirit alive, keep the hunt going until they find objective evidence that Bigfoot can't exist. I'm gonna believe. So kind of the same thing with UFOs. There's been some random sightings out here, and you look at the size of the universe, who's to say we're not alone? You know, there's so much we just don't know. And this is where you could go down those rabbit holes and start getting your tinfoil hat on and just start finding all kinds of strangeness. All different kind of theories on aliens, theories on Bigfoot, who knows? I like to believe he's just out here chilling, still playing hide and go seek, and he is the national champion. He or she, I don't want to assume gender, so. Okay, at that, I'm gonna leave it at that because I have work to do, unfortunately. I would love to hunt Bigfoot all day long, but it's just not gonna happen. I have a homestead to get back to, and believe it or not though, you do see this. It is chilly in the morning now, but it's early right now, so I would say give it some time and I'll be in a t-shirt sweating, especially. I should be doing the work right now, not hunting Bigfoot, and and then hunting Bigfoot in a t-shirt later on in the day, but I think I see Bigfoot over there. Maybe. I don't know. I need a new prescription, so can't tell for sure. But he could be right there. Could be behind me. Bigfoot could be anywhere, realistically. The one place I know Bigfoot is never is within sight of a good camera. That is for sure. So Bigfoot beware. I've got a new phone camera. I may get a picture of you. As always, if you're going to be out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, whatever, hiking, whatnot, have something to protect you, such as a handgun, bear spray, or a big dog. There's, like I said, we've had 2 fatal attacks in the last month. If that's not spooky, I don't know what is. So keep that in mind. Until next time, thanks again. Bye. Till next time, bye. Big camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt. I knew it was a gift. I love it. I do. So thanks again.